I'm going to call the meeting to order now. It is 10 a.m. and this is the Planning Committee meeting for Thursday, March 12th. And I am now the chair as our esteemed Dwight is resigning from the board as of March 16th as he is moving to San Diego. So we really, really appreciate all of his work that he's done over almost 6 years. And I'll be chair until, at least until May, when the new board members are seated. We have a little change to the agenda because we have so many speakers. We are going to take care of some business first, and we're going to move the member forum down to after new business. So roll call, please.
Selden.
Here.
Walker.
Here.
Bentley.
Here.
Byram.
Here.
Are there any changes to the minutes of our meeting from February 12th?
No.
Okay, seeing none, we were going to approve those minutes. And I don't know, past chair, do you have anything you want to say? Chair's report?
I do not. Let's move on.
Okay.
Thank you.
Capital project update. I don't know if there's any action item, but Anne, you may have some report for us.
Yes, I do, and I'm sharing on the screen the list of the capital programs that were approved as a priority list by the board. So briefly going through these, for the first one, pavement program, there's no movement on that. For the next one, the roof replacement program, we do have an agenda item for the Tice Fitness Center Skylight project, so we'll talk about that a little bit later. Under building finishes, just, this addressed the floor replacement at Creekside. We were hoping to do both Creekside and a small area in Gateway. We may want to bring that later in the year, depending on how expenditures go throughout the year. Next on the list is pickleball. So there's lots of activity happening at the pickleball site. The weather has been super cooperative, and we're really excited about that. And I'm actually glad we have a lot of people to spread this word. So if you were to look at the site, the work that's happening with all the rebar in place is for all the footings and then the platforms that the stem walls will then be formed and poured on. So we're going to have over the next 6 weeks, 6 to 7 weeks, 4 unique dates where concrete trucks will be coming in and out and doing the pours. And it's really important in the sections they can come in and out and do everything in one pour. It's to get the section done, it's for curing, et cetera. And so in order to do this, the workers will start mobilizing earlier than the 8 o'clock we typically like to do for our outside contractors. I think everybody knows, leaf blowers and landscaping happening much earlier than that. So the city ordinances, you can do 6 by permission from the city. Really 6 to 7, they'll be mobilizing, getting everything in place. They don't want to fire up anything that's really loud. Those concrete mixers, once they start going, can be loud. So there'll be 4 dates. Because of press deadlines, we didn't have enough time to get in the first date, which will be March 18th, which is next week. The subsequent 3 dates they'll be able to plan, and weather permitting, it should be like a day or 2, like with any future dates we have. We'll try to update everybody, but we are trying to minimize the impact with the early hour noises by just having these 4 dates, which isn't so bad. So that's that. The next item is the RWC admin relocation.
And what does the pickleball completion date look like?
We're still looking in the month of June. So, I mean, right now, everything is still looking on track. We pretty much use our rain. We included a rain date allowance, and everything looks like it's pretty much in there. As everyone knows, it was a town hall for the admin relocation project last Friday for food and beverage. So there was a really great article in the newspaper. Rodney kind of gave an update or kind of insight onto what was happening. So I think since that article, we have received, I believe, all the kitchen equipment, all the furnishings are expected next week. So everything needs to get in place. There's a little bit of carpentry that happens around the equipment that was delivered. We've got to do a deep cleaning, get the health department to inspect it, and then we're going to open. So in the newspaper, very important, go check the article. There is an email bigbite@rossmore.com, just like it sounds. And what we want to do, so, is to invite the residents to put their name in a lottery, because when the restaurant opens, they do a week of a soft open. And a soft open are scheduled seatings versus coming in at any time. So there'll probably be about 4 different seatings around the lunch time. And there'll be like a fixed menu. So they do this so they can train the chefs in consistency of preparation of dishes, train their wait staff, and also get a little bit of feedback from the community. So, so please respond to that. bigbite@rossmore.com. You do need to put your address for yourself and up to 3 guests, because there are 4 tops. For the most part, we may have to break parties, but I think for being one of the first to taste the food, it may be worth it to eat with a stranger. We're gonna try not to do that. And it's really, what's really, really important, we're limiting this to Rossmore residents only. So make sure when you send the email, you put the address of the people in your party.
And everybody who submits an email will get a seat.
No, it's a lottery. So depending on what the response is.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go from there, but the response has been good, but we're not sold out. So keep submitting your names and your tables. Okay, so moving down the list, so the next is the Hillside Park Master Plan, and there's been no movement on that. There's no note on the golf course lake liner replacement, but I'll tell you, we've been researching vendors that perform this type of work so we can get these comprehensive proposals. We actually found 2. And so we're working with them to get proposals, to understand scope, what it might look like if there's a permitting thing, and just getting a cost idea. So we're projecting numbers in the budget with next year that are accurate. So there is work happening, although nothing like reportable or for board or committee review at this point. For the NetSuite implementation, work is continuing now in 3 different departments: finance, communications, and community services, with the different softwares, which should hopefully improve community connectedness. More on that as these things come online, certainly communications and community services will be doing road shows as we have things tilted up. I can tell you for community services, that's not gonna happen until like the 3rd quarter of this year. So the event center solar, we're not gonna start that until the pickleball facility is complete, and then there's no movement on the remainder of the projects.
And Gulf Bridge, we're gonna talk about later.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
that.
Thank you, Anne. Do you have any project verbal updates? I think you did mention some of this,
Yeah.
food and beverage update we have. What about transit? Have you guys gotten any proposals back
So
yet?
the RFP was sent to 23 consultants, potential consultants. We are still kind of cultivating the list of options to send the RFP to. And the deadline for responses, I believe, is the very beginning of May. So we'll keep trying to generate interest and then
Great.
bring a proposal back.
And is Ann Peterson online?
Yes.
Ann, do you have any verbal update on rossmore.com or myrossmore.com?
So My Rossmore is set to go live on April 15th and rossmore.com will go live on May 1st. We are on track for both of those to happen.
Okay, great. Unfinished business. Review and approval of the site plan and artwork design for the public art installation by the Ceramics Art Club. Any update on that?
Yes. Have a little bit of a presentation.
Great.
It'll be brief and exciting. I'm so glad so many of you came for this presentation today. Right.
Is that what it's gonna look like?
Yeah, so it's a follow-up to us coming to this committee in November because a request was made to come back to approve the design and just to get more of an idea of what the landscaped area would be. With public art, as some board members can tell you that have had experience with public art, it's always good to review things and what you're looking at. You don't want you want it to be politically neutral. You don't want it to have words, which oftentimes are misspelled in public art, or things figurative, which could caricaturize, different, communities of interest and whatnot. And so, the staff has looked at this and we're really excited to be able to prop this up. And I do have 2 members of the club that'll talk about the design. But just for those of you, and actually this is really great, it's really a nice way to share some exciting things happening in the community. The project site is behind the ceramic studio. So if you're behind the ceramic studio, there's the 3 totems. So it's just south of that. There's an area which is just kind of scruff. It's a scruff. And there's a beautiful view of an air conditioning unit there. So the idea was, kind of in this area is like where the art piece will actually be. But we do plan on landscaping in front of it. And so in the upper left is that big tree. And so basically there's going to be a path that walks up to where these panels will be, and we'll talk about what that construction is like. Some benches and some landscaping along the path. So you have these 2 different areas to go sit and enjoy the art and just be in a really beautiful natural environment. So Linda, did you want to talk about the art, or was it Pamela?
If you wanna, actually, if you don't mind, you gotta step it up here just so.
Step it up.
So when you look at the artwork, the grid that's on there is for the purpose of showing you that each panel is 5 feet by 5 feet. And they will each stand independently of one another in a steel frame. The overall height then will be about 6.5 feet off of the ground. So there'll be legs that will elevate the mural so that it's at eye level. When you look at the artwork moves from left to right, not day to night, and spring to winter. And so this is principally what it will look like. Once it gets into its ceramic form, obviously it'll look a little bit different than a painting. But we're very excited about it. We also think the corners that you see, the idea of that is a frame, and that may actually extend so that it's all the way around with some individual tiles made by the artists to represent their favorite parts of Rossmore. But in principle, this is what the 4 5x5 murals will look like.
That's great.
I think it's awesome. So
Yeah,
I love it.
beautiful.
The only thing I think is missing is a bobcat. I would request, because I see every piece of wildlife that exists in Rossmore. So
Okay.
bobcat would be
Well,
nice.
look, where's the quail? Where's the, come on.
Whales
That's
there.
right.
There's
Right there.
whales.
You gonna see the quail?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, they're there.
Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
very cool.
There is a quail.
You mentioned about the tile going all the way around, so that it is, when it goes around, is that gonna take away from the mural a little bit because you're gonna take,
No,
or is it on
no,
the,
it'll
or
all
it's
just
on the
stay.
outside edge?
Yeah,
That
it'll
you're
be
gonna
on.
add those, okay,
Yeah.
great.
They would be much smaller, right? They'd only be maybe
Like brick size?
6 by 6 or even less.
Beautiful.
So we don't
Yeah.
have an action item on this today, do we?
It's giving them the okay to proceed with the artwork that you're clearing it.
I'll make that motion.
Yeah, I'll second it.
Thank you.
Roll call.
Roll call.
Can you restate the motion?
I make a motion that we give the okay to the Ceramics Club to move ahead with this project.
Based on the design concept.
Thank you.
I won't mention the bobcat.
And I'll second that.
So Ted seconded.
Okay, great.
All right.
Okay, so roll call Selden,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes?
Bentley,
Yes.
Byram.
Yes.
Okay, roll call was taken, unanimously approved.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ceramics Club.
Okay, now we are on to a recommendation to the board to authorize an amendment to the professional service agreement with BKF Civil Engineers for Phase 2 of the Gulf Bridge Replacement Capital Project. Jeff, do you have, or Ann, do you have?
Yes, I do. So we've been working in this location with BKF for the first phase, which essentially was a topographical survey of the area, a geotech soils analysis, and then preliminary bridge designs with a structural engineer. And so the second phase would be creating construction documents and providing permitting and support during construction. And maybe there's some other environmental work too, so we still have some hurdles to go over. Question? Yes.
What does support work mean?
The support work is like during construction, a lot of times you have to kind of there are things when you have to verify things in the field and you need to get your structural out, you need to get your engineers out. So that's the support they provide. Most of our design team have a certain line item where they have to support us through construction. And it's only billed on the hours that they actually come.
And when are we gonna get to see what that bridge?
Yeah, all right. So this has been a very interesting journey, right? So part of it as we're going through this is, I will say we were under the assumption that there'd be like a catalog of prefab bridges that go plunk in place. And I will say, well, things like that exist, they're very cost prohibitive, right? So these are things that you'll see that are pedestrian bridges over freeways and things like that. Really what we're trying to do to keep this affordable is, because I'll show you really the options, right? So you have, the railings are prefab, so they're really great steel construction. It's Core-10, so they kind of get the patina, which ends up blending into the landscape more than steel. It could be arced or a straight top. So these aren't renderings, these are in different locations. So our bridge is like shorter than this one. We've been working with the structural engineer versus a concrete versus so if you look at the path on it, the concrete versus the wooden path. And while the wooden path looks good, the maintenance on the concrete is going to be far less. So staff would recommend, proceeding with something that is, with the concrete path. They also, so this is more of the same type of railing in a different location. And then they showed you other things that could happen. These are too low and probably would not be the safest thing. So they were just showing that for our information of different things that could be installed as the barriers on the bridge. And then, of course, this attractive treatment. We pretty much said, no, we don't want to go in that direction, but we thought we'd show that to you. So really, it's not like there's going to be a menu of different things to choose. And they need to know the type of railing essentially so they can complete the construction documents because structural calcs are very specific to whatever you put on that. So we're moving forward with doing something like this. And we do want to use the concrete bridge versus anything with a wood overlay.
So
Minimal maintenance.
So the bridges will all be, I guess cantilever, they'll all be over the top of the creek. There's nothing gonna be blocking the creek like it is now.
Correct. Yeah, so all of that stuff is
Excuse me.
getting removed.
Excuse me, sir. It's difficult for us to hear everything here with you speaking. Thank you.
So with the, there is, the third bridge back is our old style that blocks water. After it passes over that, there's nothing, the water's gonna be running smooth all the way through. Outside the gate, they put in, are they gonna have to do anything else to the creek is the question. Because to kind of pace the water so it doesn't turn into, gaining too much speed.
So when we have our different environmental teams like looking at this, when they remove it, they are responsible for understanding like the impacts. And so we are removing all that because it's restricting the flow.
Okay.
Which three bridges are we talking
We're
about?
only doing
Two.
two. We're doing two and they're at, I have to write them down.
It's
got
the
the
last two on the line off the golf course.
6th hole and the 7th tee.
It's the second one on the 6th hole.
Yeah.
The first one on the 6th hole coming down is gonna stay. And
This
then
is Creekside.
Creekside. And then the second one, and those are, we gotta look at all of them over the course of the time.
Yeah.
These are the first two we're gonna look at right now.
Okay, someone want to make a motion? I will.
I'll make that motion. No, I'll make that motion. I'll make a motion. We recommend to the board to authorize an amendment to the professional service agreement with BKF Civil
BK.
Engineering. BKF? Yeah, that was Civil Engineering for phase 2 of the golf bid replacement capital project.
In an amount of not
Oh, I
to
see the amount
exceed-
now, of an
Yeah.
amount not to exceed 122,132.
Okay,
Thank you. Roll call, please. Selden,
yes,
Walker,
Yes.
Bentley,
Yes,
Byram.
Yes.
Motion moved, lastly approved. Thank you.
okay. Now, I think we're back to Ann
Yes.
about the skylight at the Tice Fitness Center.
Yes. Yeah, so just, this project was first prioritized in 2024, because as we, inspect the facilities, we noticed the skylight, which is part of the original Del Valle structure, had like spalling and delamination, and so the seals are getting weakened around that skylight. The idea was we were going to try to go and do a like-for-like replacement, and we found that was very cost prohibitive, because you really can't do like-by-like by code anymore. And so it was something beyond what we thought would be of value to proceed with, given that there may be other architectural alternatives. So it was really important for us to try to find the right firm to work on this, and we were trying to track down somebody that had familiarity with the architecture to make something that's in keeping with kind of the cell-story windows, to let light in, and be fitting to the building, and also be something that was cost-effective. So there's an architect working with Flynn Architecture that was part of that team, is familiar with the building, and he submitted a proposal. And you can see the total cost is $28,360. And that would be for them to develop the schematic design, the construction documents, and give us the support for bidding and construction. Again, the support is, you bid out a document, you'll get questions clarifying things, and you have to go to the architect to have them respond. So, until it's built, they're with you for the project.
And I just want to make a comment that all the projects we're talking about today are funded through the RWC capital budget. None of these things affect your coupon. Do we have a motion to move
I have a
I
forward?
had a question.
Sure.
So what is the estimated, order of magnitude cost of completing the project?
We won't know until we get the construction documents.
Is it 100,000 or a million or?
I
I
don't think it's millions, but we need to see if there need to be some roof line adjustments and whatnot. So one of the worst things we do is spitballing a number in this room,
Mhm.
because then it comes back, well, you said it was this and it's this. We really need to know what we're working with. And this process really investigates it, so we completely understand what the potential is for
And
us.
you've already decided on a potential design, or are they going to give you
They're gonna do-
alternatives to, you could do it this way or that way?
I think they're gonna give us the most cost-effective design to keep the same amount of light coming in that we have with a skylight, but it has to be architecturally different.
Any other questions?
I'll make a motion.
one more question. We won't know how much time it'll take to build until we get the design and everything, so we couldn't say now, estimate it's gonna be this much disruption in the gym.
We won't know until we know what the construction design is, then a construction plan, and then you do a disruption plan.
And just so I'm clear, the way I'm picturing it, it won't shut down the gym or anything, but it'll shut down a certain area where you can walk underneath because of the opening, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, I think we're ready for a motion.
So I'll move that we recommend to to the board to authorize a professional services agreement with Flynn Architecture for the Tice Fitness Center Skylight Capital Project in the amount of $28,360 to be paid from the capital fund.
I'll second.
Thank you. Selden,
Yes.
Walker,
Yes?
Bentley,
Yes.
Byram.
Yes.
Okay.
Motion considered and asked to be approved. Thank you.
Now we are ready for members forum.
Okay.
And China has the forms and she will call you by name after she gives the general announcement.
Yes, I will. Okay, thank you. So members, you are welcome to speak during the designated member forum at Rossmore Walnut Creek, RWC, board and community meetings, either in person or via Zoom. Speakers are limited to 2 minutes and must clearly state their full name and Rossmore address before beginning. If speaking on behalf of another member, a signed consent form is required. To speak, members must submit a member form slip prior to the start of the forum. Instructions and slips are available at the meeting entrance of the RWC board office and online. Please be advised that meetings are broadcast and recorded by attending and participating, including during the open forum. Attendees agree to and release RWC from all liability for their voice and or likeness being recorded and broadcast for any lawful purposes without compensation. Thank you. So first, I'd like to call up Nancy Castile. Nancy, you have 2 minutes to speak.
Nancy Castile, 2721 Ptarmigan Drive. I was very uncomfortable with the rude behavior witnessed at the town hall meeting on March 6th. The frequent interrupting and yelling disturbed me and many others as well. The general manager, visiting architect, and board members were actually booed. How hurtful to these hardworking people and how unproductive this kind of behavior is. I wish that those who behaved in this way will not conduct themselves like that in the future. There is a process that we are embarking on, and I trust the staff and board members to guide us through this process in a fair and reasonable way. I don't see how anyone could think they should be listened to if they express themselves in a rude and angry manner. So please, concerned residents should state their grievances in a kind and productive manner. This way, all feedback can be gathered and included in the final decision. We need to show gratitude for the work that the board does on behalf of the community so we can continue to attract people with the high level of experience and expertise in decision-making to the board. The people that serve on our board are elected representatives volunteering their time to make sound decisions on behalf of our residents. I want to personally thank them for their work. Hopefully, they can recover from the insults they might have received. I want to apologize in particular to Jeff Matheson and thank him for his patience throughout the presentation. Your experience is invaluable to the community, and we thank you for your service. So I do trust our board and general manager to make sound decisions on all of our behalf. They're the ones putting in the work, armed with all the facts and information and the big picture. Being an informed resident is hard work. I hope the community will be able to have many productive listening sessions in the coming months as we embark on this wonderful journey in partnership with staff and board to update the facilities at Rossmore.
Joanne Ribeiro.
Ribeiro.
Apologies.
Hi, I'm Joanne Ribeiro, 1417 Oakmont Drive, number 1. I am here regarding the Hillside Plan. I'm president of the Rossmore Lawn Bowling Club. And we have been told many times that there are other clubs interested in taking over part of our greens. We are one of 2 clubs in the entire area. We're part of a division called Pacific Intermountain Division that have 3 greens. So we're able to host a lot of the regional tournaments here. So I'm here to speak to that. We also have a list of things we'd like to have, which I can share with you at another time. I don't need to go into detail. But the important thing is that we're very interested in what the plan is going to do to our greens, and we'd like to be an integral part of the planning for that. Thank you.
Dave Costers.
Hi, I'm Dave Costers, 3352 Terra Granada, apartment 1B. I want to talk a little about the decision and the proposal that was made by this committee a month ago to recommend $157,000 for study of a very specific aspect to be looked at for relocation of Gateway so that we could centralize staff at Gateway. And as the board talked about that, when it got to the board meeting, it was clear that the majority of board members felt it was very important that study go forward because it would look at the alternatives that would be available. And to me, it was very clear. I've looked at the transcript, I've listened to the meeting, and the board seemed to be of the idea that there was more than simply looking at building F and dollar in the scope. That's all that was in there. We've now got a petition circulating by the residents asking that alternatives be looked at. And I know the board has talked about this. I'm going to make the request to this group as I will to others. It's very simple to me. If we simply added to that $157,000, whatever it would take to study some alternatives, because there are alternatives that have not been looked at. So please, especially board members, could we look at the alternatives and incorporate them now? And let's get people settled down on this thing. Thank you.
Judith Schumacher Jennings.
My name is Judith Schumacher Jennings, and I live at 870 Terra California Drive, apartment 6. And I came to the town hall the other day. Thank you for holding it and giving us an opportunity to get a better sense of the renovations. I had a few comments. One thing, prime real estate. Gateway is the gateway to Rossmore. And since the beginning of Rossmore, the residents had that building for the library, for the computer room, for the card room, et cetera. And now the consideration to make that a staff building seems to me a profound change in messaging to front the staff and instead of to front the residents. Another is the kitchens. So there's 2 kitchens of the multipurpose room, and there's 1 kitchen at Dollar. And I'm not sure if I was following right, but I kind of heard that we were gonna lose all those kitchens. Kitchens to me are really essential to clubs. It's a way that we can have a community, share food, and without the kitchens, it really makes that difficult. I know they can be problematic about cleaning, but I think it's important that we keep the kitchens. Another is historical preservation at Dollar. And the artist's rendition of the cafe didn't impress me as having a sense of historical preservation at Dollar. Okay, and another is additional parking for Gateway. If we're gonna bring more staff into the Gateway area, I didn't hear anybody talking about more parking. And
That is time.
Excuse me?
That's time.
Oh, the last thing I had to say was about democracy, and Jeff, you mentioned that at the villages.
I'm sorry, but your time is up.
Thank you.
Mary Ann Clark.
I'm Mary Ann Clark. I live at 1780 Stanley Dollar. I'm here again. The town hall meeting didn't address some things I expected to be addressed. Jeff had talked about parking options in the Rossmore News preceding the meeting. I heard nothing about parking options. When I went to talk to the architect, he said, oh, we haven't thought about that yet. And I thought, isn't that central to using the Dollar space? We've already impacted it at the event center. We've added the pickleball courts. Now we're going to be adding meeting spaces. I think that should be first priority. And he said, well, we'll figure that out later when we figure out how we're going to use the Dollar House. And I was thinking, okay, then what would your options be? And I started thinking about the Dollar Park. And I thought, oh, that would be so handy for parking. yeah, let's take down a few trees and we'll have a great parking place. Well, when we were planning the event center, my main concern was what was going to happen to the trees with the parking lot. Oh, nothing, the trees are going to be fine, we'll protect the trees. Since then, 7 trees have died and fallen. They weren't taken care of. And I'm afraid of what's going to happen with and more impacted parking there. The other thing is debt. I think we need to think about debt. We haven't paid off the event center as I understand it. We need to pay off our debt before we embark upon anything else. This funding study of ELS is premature. We need to cut down our debt. We need to preserve the Dollar House. That would be my priority, preserve the Dollar House and preserve it.
That is time.
And 2 minutes is too short. You need to go back to the 3 minutes.
Giselle Huff.
I'm Giselle. I was out of frog in my throat. I'm Giselle Huff. I live at 600 Terra California Drive, number 3. I attended the town hall meeting. Thank you for holding it. One of the questions that was not satisfactorily answered for me was the participation of the community in the fashioning of this study that is going on. I think I heard that the president and vice presidents of the library club and the computer center club would be involved. And I'm thinking 4 random people not elected by their clubs who are hard workers. And to me, that wasn't enough input if that was limited to those 2 clubs. So I took it upon myself to gather a number of people who are here today and to commit. I have 140 people on my list to commit to attend every single board meeting that has anything to do with this project and to actually have the voices of the community at every step of the way. So thank you for showing up and thank you for hosting us.
David Kahn.
Yes, my name is David Kahn, 1100 Ptarmigan, number 5. I spent many years as an administrator in the academic world, and it became absolutely clear to me that the job of an administrator is to make everybody's lives easier. This plan for the library is a situation where the tail is wagging the dog. This does not make the life easier for the library. The plan puts the library in a place with fewer square feet. We're going to have to cut down on the number of books. A library is a resource that is valuable for everybody, as you've probably discovered from the town meeting. And there's a great deal of resistance to it. I have no idea why this decision is being made. It is a problem. It is a solution without a problem. There's no need for it. The library is a purpose-built room as a library. The multi-purpose rooms are not, and the library will not fit in there and will not be able to share space. It is just simply a bad idea and needs to be trashed right now.
Helen Devarin.
Hi, good morning. My name is Helen Davarin, and I live at 2600 Sacramento Indian Drive, number 4. And I'm relatively new in Rossmore, just a little bit over 2 years. And I was just concerned that there was no input in terms of planning for this. The first I heard about it was just a little while ago. I've always enjoyed the Gateway Center a lot. I think fixing the Dollar facility is a good idea, not bad. I'm concerned about parking there too, but I do feel that this is a an entrance to Rossmore. And I've always wondered why the Redwood Room lost the coffee and facilities there to enjoy a little bit more. I think all of our facilities should have some sort of a machine, if anything, to help residents. It's a lovely area, and I'm just sad that there wasn't more input in terms of planning for this. And I hope that things will be different in the future. Thank you.
Barry Bryan.
Hello, I'm Barry Bryan at 3874 Terra Granada Drive 3C. The February 26th board meeting was packed with 80 or so residents attending in person. All of the residents who spoke opposed the gateway conversion. A majority of RWC board members spoke also of the desire to more fully examine alternatives. There are alternatives to reconfiguring the gateway buildings that house the library, Redwood Room, and computer rooms that should be considered, including but not limited to exploring additional land and building use options at Rockview, including leaving RPM in its current location and using prefab buildings, relocating accounting possibly to Building F where the multipurpose rooms are, erecting a new two-story auxiliary building at Rockview, first floor parking, second floor office space, evaluating adding more space to Building F where the multipurpose rooms are to accommodate some or most Rockview employees, studying ways to increase RWC staff efficiency and reduce headcount, including remote work to optimize size of staff needed. Finally, to evaluate these alternatives, creating a task force with board and non-board Rossmore residents to identify and evaluate building alternatives. Please recommend to the RWC board that they approve funds to evaluate these and other alternatives that residents propose. Together, we can make Rossmore work for staff and residents. Thank you.
Mary England.
Good morning, I'm Mary England, 1200 Fairlawn Court, entry 5, number 8. I would like to make some comments on the early phase of relocation of staff to Gateway. It seems to be that the plan to renovate the Dollar Clubhouse is probably short-sighted. The projected or estimated cost to renovate Dollar would be $7.3 million. I think that the National Registry of Historic Properties or Places would exclude the Dollar House as a historic property upon reconstruction. The Dollar's poorly designed structure, it was originally a farmhouse, has significant deficiencies in seismic safety, including a front entry with unreinforced masonry chimney and facade, and a rear entrance with unreinforced masonry chimney. The Dollar grounds will need to be resurfaced, re-landscaped, perhaps planning for parking. The entire utility infrastructure of the Dollar will need to be replaced, which accounts for a lot of the estimated $7.3 million. Thank you.
There are no online member forums, so that completes our member forums for today.
Thank you. The next meeting of the Planning Committee will be Thursday, April 9th in this room at 10 a.m. And this meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.